Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel. Friends, today we will discuss topic whether we install software using .exe or .msi, or should we install software using .exe or .msi. If you are ever gone to install a program on Windows, you may have noticed that there are one of two possible file types for installing the program, .exe and .msi. Here you are seeing two types of file, .exe and .msi files. So for example, if you are going to download Firefox, the browser, you do actually have the option to download as .exe or .msi. You have preferred installer. Here are preferred installer means you can download .exe file or .msi file. Here same like 32-bit and 32-bit .msi file. These are the your preference installer you can download from Firefox website. And he may have what is really the difference. Is it better to use one or the others, and why? So in this video I am going to explain what is the difference of what is this MSI file is, and why you might wanna use one over the other if you do have the choice. So an exe file is executable file, which is basically just means it does something. It's not like a file that just stores data like a docs file or Word or Excel or text file. It's a .exe file. Exe file means executable file. File or something like that where another program reads it. The .exe is the program file itself. Now it can do several things. It can be just a general purpose program that runs or something, or it could be a mini program that runs and it only purpose to install an other main program, and in that case it would be the installer. But there is the other file type, the .msi file. MSI file is short for Microsoft installer, and unlike an exe file which could be like a general purpose, it can be either an installer or the program itself. It is specifically created by most of the time Microsoft to standardize installation file. And one of the main difference with an .msi file is that it does not actually executable by any code itself. So the .exe file, you run it and it itself does everything to install the program. It puts all the files in that correct place, whatever, put all the files in the container, whereas .msi file is more container. It is a wrapper and a set of instruction, and then something else takes all the data and does the actual installing, and what is the Windows API. So put in simpler term, when you run .msi file to installer something, you basically are telling Windows itself, not the file, but Windows, hey, I have a program here that needs to be installed. Can you install this program for me? And then Windows will use this API, and it had a dedicated centralized program to deal with the installer file called .msi.exe, which is executable to come and handle this container msiexec.exe, and it contains instruction for where to put the files, what changes need to be made to the registry, that sort of thing. So the outcome of the installation is gonna to be same where it is an .exe file or .msi file. So you might be wondering, well then why use one over the other? Now whether it make a difference if you use an .msi file or .exe installer is really gonna depends on your case you are using for your installation and for your program. If you are just a home user installing a program for yourself or your own computer, it really does not make a big difference. Although I would recommend probably using the .msi file if you have the option, although again it does not really matter. .msi file is more better and more convenient and is safe rather than .exe file. Friends, if you have an option to choose .msi file, then always choose .msi file rather than .exe file, and I will explain why this is better and why this is next. However, there are advantages of certain cases, like if you are an enterprise or you are an IT administrator and need to install a program on a whole fleet of computers, all the systems at once, then there are major advantages to use an .msi file, and one of them is that it is standardized, and that means that there are known switches or parameter you can use it while installation of any program. On these .msi file, they are all the same. For example, you could install all the programs automatically using quiet mode, which means it depends pop-up things to confirm every step. So if you are installing a program on a user's computer remotely, then it will just do itself automatically instead of requiring the user or quick through all these things. You have to explain the user which one to click and all that nonsense, and there are a whole bunch of different switches they are called. So for example, one could be to force a repair of these files, and other one could be enable logging it. If there is a problem, then it will be in more log files you can see from your systems, so you can figure out what's going on. Whereas if you are using a .exe file to install something, there are several possible installers you can use, platform that you can use. I don't know if the platform right term, but basically different software products are available for installation that you can buy to create an installer from your particular program, and that is not a standardized one from the Microsoft. Friends, here are the different Windows options are available, like name, developer, status, license, and it's can build Windows installer packages, can we build MX changes, can capture. Here are different types of program available from where we can use install .msi file or .exe file, and we can convert .exe file to .msi file. I can tell you the procedure how we can convert the .exe file to .msi file in later video, and they might have additional features that might require extra stuff that an .msi file that cannot handle. But the means that if you are not installing something with an .exe, you don't really know what switches or parameter it could have unless you look it up. For the average person, though, like me and like you, there are two slight advantages I would say for my understanding for .msi files to use them instead. If you can use .exe file, and one of them is when you run an .msi file, you just automatically, as a part of this standard software, it will create an uninstall script automatically to basically roll back anything which we have installed or we have did it. Whereas with an .exe file, it might also include an installer. If you go to uninstall any product, but you don't know that it is actually removing or not all the things that it is installed. So with the .msi file you can know that you are more likely to actually remove all the stuff. It's simple enough to just reverse that process for during uninstallation the process. Now of course there is one which is that if the program creates files after it actually installed, well then there is up to the program to remove those files, because when we are installing the program, .msi installer only handle what is created initially when installing it. If the program then creates setting and backups and whatever after you run it, then that might not be uninstalled everywhere. Another advantage is that you will probably know that the .msi file is not gonna be a virus, whereas .exe file, like said, it can be used for a lot of different purposes, like virus, like a program, like installation file, and it can be anything include in .exe file. It could be a legitimate installer, or it could be a virus in itself in .exe file, whereas a .msi file is, you know what is it, it does not execute anything itself, it's just a set of instruction. So it make a lot of less sense for a virus to be distributed as an .msi file. I mean, theoretically it could be possible that it is distributed in an .msi file that install the virus, but at the point if you are getting the user to run that anyway, then you may as well just disturb any .exe file. So I'm not really aware of any virus that have been distributed as an .msi. So there is might have been out there, but it is extremely rare where you don't have to worry about it really, or at least not nearly to be the degree, if it is an exe file .exe file. Now of course in any case, whether you are downloading an .msi or .exe file, you still have the chance to take in consideration whether you are getting the file from platform. If you are just downloading the file from torrent or something else, you still download. Now that it could be installing adware, malware or something else. Even though it is not a virus itself, theoretically again it could be a putting stuff you download necessary want you. So if you are downloading a program from like Firefox from official website, you probably don't need to worry in terms of security which one you choose. But if you are getting from some random platform, yeah, you believe that it is secure, so secure thing, but it's distributed as an exe, so might be a little more sketched out if it distributed as an .exe msi file. But again it's just one thing to consider out of the rest of the common sense you are gonna using, whether you are trust file or not. So the answer is question very straightforward. If you have the choice, should you install with .msi file, and I would say yes. Personally I would, but that is not always the option, because most of the time we have some software are not available in the form of .msi file, so we have not always the option to download the .msi file. Sometimes you do have program both option you can download. For example, I mentioned Firefox, although you have to kind to seek it out, like Here are two different options, .exe file and .msi file. You have both options to download. You can I can prefer you and I can prefer to download .msi file. However, if you click download option and other languages, you don't have a drop down. Where you can select your preferred installer, and here you can see you can download it is as in both types of file .msi and .exe, and sometimes you don't have to go a little bit. You way to find the types of installer like exe file and .msi they offer. Another example is Google Chrome. If you wanna get the MSI installer, for that you actually have good option for installing the Chrome. Go to Google Chrome. If we are going to the option to download Google Chrome MSI installer, then there have a different option. We have stable option and beta option, and then file type, bundle or MSI. Friends, here we have option. We can download in .exe file, and we can also download in .msi file. Then I will prefer to download in MSI file. And then architecture is 32-bit or 64-bit. We can download in for Windows which have installed 32-bit, we can download for 32-bit, and if we have installed 64-bit, then we can use it download for 64-bit, and then click on download button. Friends, we have the option to download the Google Chrome in .msi file. And again, they are kind of catering this toward enterprise which are going to be installing the bundle and a whole bunch of different systems at once. Now, one example of software that uses .msi by default is Elgato of software. This is the website of Elgato, and here are, if we download Steam Deck, then we click on download button, and it will start the download. Friends, it is downloading in .msi file. Here are the option, the Windows installer package .msi file. You can see here it's extension .msi file. We can download it in this format. So far, the Steam Deck stuff like that, I found that it seems like all their software in installer format, like MSI file on their download pages, download by default. So that's interesting, very interesting. So if you don't want to get the .msi installer for whatever reason, you just prefer it, or you have to install a whole bunch or system, that what you could do it again. Search of the program name. You can search your software with whatever MSI installer, any program you want to download or you want to search. You can write here, then click MSI installer, or you can also use the software name offline installer, like Chrome, like Firefox, and any other thing. You can use it. When you are downloading the installer, it's basically just a downloader that downloads the installer. If it makes the, so for Google Chrome, so far the Google Chrome, here are Google Chrome setup.exe and Google Chrome setup.msi file. You may download the installer. Technically it's called, but there is a very small file. You can see the size of Google Chrome.exe file, and you can see the size of Chrome setup.msi file. It's offline installer and it's online installer. when we download this installer and we click on it, then it downloads some files from the internet for installation, to complete the installation. Sometimes you can actually download the offline file installer. It is called which contains everything for installation purpose in it. And then sometimes that is what the .msi file. So you know all that if an .msi file is gonna to be an offline installer, then it might be everything available in this. So if you don't like using the online downloader thing, then you can look for that MSI version. So you not too much more to say about. If you were ever wondering whatever it makes a difference, to answer is not really, but you may slightly be biased toward using the .msi if you have the choice. So if you enjoyed this video, let me know into comments, give me thumbs up, and if I left anything out, feel free to let me know down there too in comments section. Also, if you are new here, maybe consider checking out the rest of my channel, seeing some of the videos I have uploaded, and consider subscribing. And if you do, be sure to click the bell next to subscriber button to enable notification. Then you will receive my latest videos which I have uploaded for you, so the videos don't get lost in the rest of your subscription feed I uploaded ever. And finally, if you guys want to keep watching the next video, I would recommend it is one where I made so thanks so much for watching my channel. Bye.